I was working in the lab late one night when my eyes beheld an eerie sight, for my monster from his slab began to rise, and to my sudden surprise he did the mash. He did the monster mash. He did the mash. It was a graveyard smash. He did the mash. It was a card on a flash. He did the mash. He did the monster mash. Oh. Wow. All right.
And there goes our monetization. Welcome everybody to the We Sell Dirt podcast. Actually, you'd be surprised, fucker.
How do you have? Wait, what?
That is.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry about it. So welcome to the We Sell Dirt podcast, which is our Halloween special. So, in light of Halloween, we, of course, at least me and Randall here, are in costume.
Yep. Since
mine's a little more explicit, it doesn't take a genius to figure out what I am.
You're Cuba, right?
Yeah, Randall. Randall, tell us what you are.
I am a hobo. I'm homeless. You can see my gloves. If we're lucky, I might go fingerless at some point, just chop the fingers off. But
wow,
I'll be honest with you. This is a very hot outfit to have on right now.
It's trending with millennials.
I look less like a hobo and more like a mountain skier, but whatever.
I thought you called for a second. I thought you called yourself a hobo.
No.
And I thought that couldn't be right. Okay, so I'm not crazy.
No,
All
I'm just a hobo.
Okay.
By the way, on today's podcast, we have a very special guest, Sinister Sheep from the Sinister Sheep podcast. You might also know him
Sheep
as
and Friends podcast.
You might also know him as JJ. We've mentioned him a few times on our podcast.
Yeah.
And of course, as always, your hosts, Pietro Fernandez, that is me, and below me is my delicious, wonderful co-host, my executive host, Randall Candy.
Yes. And today is a very special episode of the We Sell Dirt podcast because this is a two-parter, two-platform episode Halloween extravaganza.
It's called a collab.
It's called a collab.
So we'll be starting off with our podcast, and if you want to continue listening to other spooky Halloween shit, hit up JJ's podcast for part 2. But you don't have to watch like them in order. If you want to watch JJ's first, go ahead. If you want to watch ours first, go ahead. It doesn't matter.
If you want to watch ours and only ours, that's also
fine. Just don't visit
watch
my fucking
JJ's
channel.
Don't watch JJ's.
It's fine.
You just completely ruined what a collab is supposed to do in the first 10 minutes of this podcast. He's supposed to sponsor me.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Watch this fucking
We're going on your thing for clout,
Yeah, watch your stupid shit. I don't care.
Watch this motherfucking shit. Okay. So,
hell yeah, bro.
For this one, I decided since it's Halloween, it's spooky season, we are going to talk about horror stories. Spooky, scary, spooky.
Okay.
So, I enlisted my crew here to find the spookiest, scariest stories, and that they could find. And I don't know.
I didn't do that. I just found regular stories.
He found the regular scary stories.
Regular spookies.
So before we go on,
privileged white people.
So that's really scary. Privileged America. That's me with the hat. So,
I hate fucking rich people. They don't share their money.
All they want is my fucking money. I hate it.
I know you got something bigger than a 10. Put it in the fucking hat.
I know you got something bigger than a 10.
Fuck. So,
you got a 20 in there.
I think we should start on our horror stuff, and then we'll get into to lighten the mood at the end. We'll go on to Randy's funny stuff. So, JJ, how about we start off with you? You said you had a couple, but we'll do one at a time. You go, and then I go, and then you'll go.
All right. Do you want to hear popular Connecticut urban legend, or do you want something I found on Reddit.
Let me hear something spicy.
Give you something spicy?
Yeah, I say
whatever's the spiciest.
All right. Well, there's one that's more detailed, but the other one's not so much. This one I found on Reddit. So I'm really into like urban tales and shit.
Is there any soup in them?
What?
They got soup in them.
Yeah, they got soup in them.
I
want some soup.
Yeah.
So this one was called The Limping Woman, and basically it tells the story of there was this woman, and she used to be a school teacher or whatever, like back in the 50s. And one day on her walk home, this is in a small town. One day on her walk home, essentially, she gets pursued by this. She gets pursued by this dude, and then she's like, okay.
I just realized that.
And there's a war going outside my window. Jesus Christ!
Hinges on Jack being able to tell a concise, compelling story.
It's so stupid.
This is so weird.
I thought he was gonna be reading off something.
Oh, was I supposed to read it?
It's up to you. I don't give a shit. Apparently, Randall gives a shit.
Just read a spooky story and tell it. I was like, okay.
Keep going. She's limps. Right. She goes to a middle school or something.
Right. No, she's a teacher of elementary school. So after school, she's walking from home, and she has this pursuer, and the pursuer essentially kills her. Right. So there's this urban legend that in that same spot where she was killed on the side of the road, like she comes and haunts you. The way she does this is that if you try to outrun her, then she'll just kill you. And if you turn around to look at her, then she kills you also. So what you have to do is you have to just stay there, stand still, and
let her suck your dick.
Yes, and let her
suck your fucking schmeat,
giant dick.
Yo, she fucking lays.
What does she do to you?
Down.
What does she do? She just fucking touch it? Like what the fuck?
Sniffs you?
She just I mean the story on Reddit kept it kind of vague. It was just like, oh, she'll get you or something like that, but
she'll get you.
I'm assuming she kills you. The reason why she's called the Limping Lady is because while she was trying to run away from the pursuer, like her ankle just snapped or whatever. So like when
dumb bitch.
When you hear her coming, you hear like her dragging her feet essentially, or dragging
just
her
wet slapping noises.
She's just fucking flicking the bead.
Just the most disgusting shit you could think of. So like I guess the writer of the Reddit post tried this out, and he was like, oh, it happened to me, but I came out alive. So the thing you're supposed to say is, I have to be home before mother worries, because she was a school teacher, and that's, I guess, what she heard after school every day or something like that. I don't really know. That was the first one. I mean, it's a little spooky. I think it's a neat concept if you were to make it into like a short film. Literally all you need is to just guerrilla style, just on the side of the road, and just have a limping woman.
Peter, that should have been your project.
I need more people with me, Randall, to do that.
Oh, my bad. No, you could just do all the parts.
Randall, you don't know what goes you don't know what goes into a film set.
Bro.
No, this one you could easily
do all the parts.
This one you could do with max like one other person.
Minimum group like 5 to 6 people. It's a real easy.
One other person, real easy, but yeah. But that would require me to find a second person, and I'm not very sociable. So wonderful story, JJ. I will be shitting myself tonight. I will no longer be able to sleep.
I'm glad I told that unchronologically and fucked up. And fuck you. I really hate that I'm on camera. I don't like being on camera. Like I don't know what to do with my hands. I don't know what to do with my face.
Sorry, JJ. Sorry that we're a couple of cute boys who want to show our faces on camera.
And you're showing your ugly-ass alt-right friend with this fucking new haircut, right? Right? Sneaky torch motherfucker.
And to be fair, a large portion of our listeners are audio only, so most of them won't have to look at you.
Yeah, thank God.
Thank Christ. Oh my God.
Fucking, ooh.
So, to jump off of that story, pardon me, I don't get a lot of sleep, and I yawn a lot. So,
damn.
This one...
Show me what that mouth
is. This one happened a few years ago. This happened 2017. It is the story of the Watcher. This is a real criminal case where a new family moved into a house in a new neighborhood, and they started receiving letters from a person called the Watcher. So I'm going to read a little bit of the article that has it, kind of giving some examples of what these people are like and where they're living, and I'll also read you some of the letters that this Watcher wrote. So, one night on June 2014, Derek Brodus had just finished an evening of painting at his new home in Westfield, New Jersey, when he went outside to check the mail. Now, Derek and his wife, Maria, he went out to check...
What? At what time?
I would say, maybe 5 o'clock. Typically mail comes between,
All right. Well, just got to get these details through. I was picturing it being late at night. He goes, well, time to go get the mail.
He's like, hey, it's 12 o'clock. It's midnight. Finally check out that mail.
I wonder if my package came in.
So Derek and his wife, Maria, they both just finally closed on a 6-room house on 657 Boulevard 3 days earlier. And we're doing some renovations around the house before moving in. So there wasn't much in the mail except a few bills and a white card-shaped envelope. It was addressed in thick, clunky handwriting to the new owner, and the typed note inside began warmly. Dearest new neighbor at 657 Boulevard, allow me to welcome you to the neighborhood. Kind of innocent note, right? Nothing spooky, nothing creepy. Yeah, to kind of give some...
to bring a casserole.
Were there white stains on the note?
No, just a regular old note.
Good.
And just to give some context of the Brodus family, Maria was raised in this town. This is her hometown. She's lived there for years before marrying Derek. And Derek grew up in Maine and worked in an insurance company to eventually become the vice president of it, which is really cool, which allowed him to...
These the type of people that don't look at me when I'm on the street.
Yeah, they fucking hate people like you, Randall. They spit at you. They look at you like gross because they live in their $1.3 million house. And
all those rooms, and they ain't got one for little old Randy.
And they just celebrated Derek's birthday. He turned 40. Congratulations, Derek, at least in 2014. And they had 3 kids. They had 3 wonderful little children. So Derek kept the note. He was like, whatever. But it was weird. And the note continued. The note continued saying, how did you end up here? Did 657 Boulevard call to you with its force within? 657 Boulevard had been the subject of my family for decades now, and as it approaches its 110th birthday, I have been put in charge of watching and waiting for its second coming. My grandfather watched the house in the 20s, and my father watched it in the 60s. It is now my time. Do you know the history of the house? Do you know what lies within the walls of 657 Boulevard? Why are you here? I will find out. Now, it's kind of fucking weird.
That is weird.
And eventually...
He's just so casual. He's like, my poppy did it before me, and his poppy before him.
See? You will see. I swear to God.
Watch.
And it gets...
Wait for the second coming and all.
Yeah, it's freaky. It's weird, because he goes on to name the exact model of the Brodus' car. He goes on to also write who was working there the night on the houses, and he was also able to figure out the ages of all 3 of the Brodus family children correctly. He wrote, I see already that you have flooded 657 Boulevard with contractors so that you can destroy the house as it's supposed to be. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Bad move. You don't want to make 657 Boulevard unhappy.
Man likes his adjectives.
He writes,
no.
He writes about the children. You have children. I have seen them. So far, I think there are 3 that I can count. And he wrote, hopefully, he wrote asking, maybe more on the way. He wrote, do you need me to fill the house with the young blood? Do you need to fill the house with the young blood I requested? Better for me. Was your old house too small for the growing family? Or was it greed to bring me your children? Once I know their names, I will call to them and draw them to me.
So this man keeps reading these notes, and not once does it occur to him, maybe I should call the police?
Is this the first note? Is this dude's coming out strong? He goes straight from like, oh, welcome to the neighborhood, you know, this is a cool house, it's got a lot of history behind it. By the way, I will be luring your children out at night into the street.
I mean, I don't know if you've ever owned an apartment or a home, but that comes pretty standard, Randall.
Yeah, there's always a creepy dude who's just trying to lure your children.
Yeah.
So I think this is all in one note.
Wow, that's a long-ass note.
But he does give multiple notes. And so 2 weeks later, another note arrived. And it talks about the kids again. And it's really weird. He writes, it's been years and years since the young blood ruled the hallways of the house. Have you found all the secrets it holds yet? Will the young blood play in the basement? Or are they too afraid to go down there alone? I would be very afraid if I were them. It is far away from the rest of the house. If you were upstairs, you would never hear them scream. What the fuck?
By the way, I am in the basement.
He's just stating some interesting facts that the homeowner should know. Like, if they're upstairs, I'm not going to hear them scream.
So, by the way, you're out of Cheez-Its. I ate the last of them.
Sorry about that. I owe you.
Bad. 1 box of Cheez-Its.
And so, eventually, the Brodus parents, stopped bringing their kids there, and another 3rd letter came in, and the watcher wrote, where have you gone to? 657 Boulevard is missing you. So apparently they stopped showing up to the house. So the watcher wrote that letter.
As one should.
Yeah.
The watcher started
I would say good call.
To write that letter.
He's like, no, come back.
No, I missed you.
Why did you leave?
We were going to have so much fun.
I can't watch if you're not there. Come on.
That's how I get off.
Fuck. Damn it. They avoided my very simple thing. It was just, if they're not there, I can't watch them.
That's my thing.
Yeah, here it is. Here's how he wrote his last letter. Violet winds and bitter cold. To the vile and spiteful Derek and his wench of a wife, Maria.
Whoa.
Maybe a car accident.
Yo, fuck you and fuck your bitch.
Maybe a car accident.
That's one step away. Maybe that's one step away from harlot, my guy. When?
Maybe an accident. Maybe a fire. Maybe something as simple as mild illness that never seems to go away, but makes you fall ill day after day after day after day. Maybe the mysterious death of a pet, loved one suddenly die. Planes and cars and bicycle crashes. Bones breaking. That's his final letter. He fucking pretty much says, fuck you guys for leaving the house. You ruined my days. So, there's obviously the neighbors, which is a good suspect. There's the conspiracy theory tinfoil hat conspiracy where it's the town going against them. Yeah, my favorite of all of the suspects is the Brodus family themselves. Ooh, spooky.
Oh, so why? Like selling out like what's the one famous house? The one famous haunted house that the Warrens went to. Oh, come on. No. It'll come to me. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's the logic there? It's like, let me buy this really expensive house and then just shatter its property value.
So, see, that's the thing. Derek was probably, and based off of police records and his records on his bills, he may have not been able to afford the house. He may have had to put in a lot of loans, so he couldn't really afford the house. He just got, he's high off of his luck. He got the promotion at his job. He's senior vice president at an insurance firm. It's his birthday. He's living a good life. His wife's probably smoking hot. He's got 3 adorable children. So
got a hot wife that he nuts in,
constantly producing a lot of young blood, and so because it's funny because once these stories got popular, it was no surprise that Netflix, Hulu, HBO, all of these broadcasting companies wanted to buy the story.
Like make a show out of it. Okay. I gotcha.
So, because it often happens where people have weird shit happen in their lives and people buy the rights to tell that story. So he was hoping, investigators were thinking that they could make a shit ton of cash to pay off the debts that Derek owes for owning the house. And
it just seems like a stretch to me.
And it's definitely that because while
Netflix has the Haunting at Hill House series, and now
Netflix does own the rights to this story, by the way. They did secure the rights. They'll
probably make it a haunting of what the fuck? Yeah,
haunting of something, or they just might make a really shitty fucking movie,
like 3 episodes
with it. But that's the story. I think it's fucking weird that
it's definitely like going from it's a cool campfire story, but if you imagine living that and getting those letters, bro, that would that would move to a different state.
It's funny because the family that lived prior to them, the Woods, they received a letter in the mail, but they kept it hidden from the Broduses because if they showed the Broduses they were getting creepy ass letters, the Broduses wouldn't have bought the house.
So the Woods were like, yo, don't tell them about the fucking Watcher.
Yeah, they were pretty much like, let's not show them
that's
the
scummy,
Watcher.
But that's also a good move on their part.
Yeah, so the Broduses sued the Woods for not disclosing this information because you have to disclose that kind of information, like if people died in the house, weird shit, if
there's a stalker associated with the house.
Yeah.
Because that's what happened to the Broduses.
Normal stuff.
The Broduses were trying to sell this house, but they had to disclose that by the way, there's some creepy fucking guy watching this house. And he might call your children Youngblood, which I think is the coolest way to call a child.
Yeah, what's up, Youngblood?
Hey, yo, what up,
Wolfenstein
Youngblood?
took that.
Yeah,
so.
what's up? Here.
And, I probably didn't do a fantastic job.
No, you did a better job than I
telling the story, but it's very abridged. I highly recommend if you're interested in watching more, learning more about the Watcher. I typically get my creepy shit from BuzzFeed's Unsolved series. It is surprisingly really it's really fucking good. So I highly suggest watching that and some other ones. I kind of had some other creepy stories that I wanted to tell, but I thought this one was the better one. There's a creepy unsolved murder of a little girl, and it's really sad and depressing. And just some other creepy ass shit, like a family going missing, like an entire family just gone, or an entire family in Australia where they all the parents they all had a mass hallucination. So
Australia is a scary place to live because those motherfucking spiders are like the size of a fucking dog.
They thick fucking spiders. Yo, those spiders got
like,
fucking
have you seen that video
trucks,
of like
baby.
This dude just goes into the house or goes into one of his rooms, he turns on a light, and there's just a fucking massive spider on the wall with like all little spiders crawling around it. Ugh. No.
Yep.
So yeah, that's my story.
Don't live in Australia. That's the conclusion.
Don't. Australia is nasty. Live in the United States, where the people are nasty.
Anything away from this podcast, do not live in Australia.
Or keep living in the good old US of A. Like, live in me. Believe in me.
Live in you?
Inside of Peter.
Yeah, I'm the United States. Please live in me.
Yeah, because
all right.
Cuba.
Do we want to do a little cool down funny story for people?
Let's do a cool down. Let's do a cool down.
All right. So I got a little article off of r/entitled parents. And this one is titled, My Brother is an Entitled Piece of Shit.
I like it.
Okay.
10 out of 10.
So the article goes, so today I was chilling playing Skyrim, and my brother walks in and says that I'm an incel, and
right on.
So he's just vibing playing Skyrim, right? And my brother walks in and says that I'm an incel, and I say no, I'm not, because I have an actual life. And then he says how I'm being a jerk when he was on the. Oh, this is such poorly written, but basically he was on the one that walked in here and called me an incel. I said, you were the one that walked in here and decided to pick a fight. You're being the ass. This is just some dude just ranting about some shit that happened 20 minutes ago.
I say, like,
he got this.
Is the whole post just them going back and forth like, no, you're an asshole. No, you're a dick. He started screaming, causing everyone in the house to be an asshole to me. I kept on saying that I did not do anything. They said, no, you picked a fight, and your brother fucking looked at me and smiled and ran away, saying that I made him upset. Jesus Christ, my family then said that I should be a better fucking brother, and he wrote this
locked me in my room now. Now I'm writing this on the internet. Well, that's my story. Bye.
10 out of 10.
So here's what happened. This dude's chilling, playing Skyrim, right? His brother comes in and he goes, You're a dork. And he goes, no, I'm not. You're a dork. And then the brother goes, no, you're a fucking dork. And the parents go, hey! Knock it out! And the brother goes, yo, he's being a fucking dick. And like, no, I'm not! And then the parents are like, just go to your fucking room. Jesus Christ. And he goes, I'm going to go tell Reddit.
I was totally fucking up the game in Skyrim, right? And
I was totally fucking that dragon.
And my brother comes and calls me an incel. Now, I am, but you don't have to bring that shit up.
By the way, women, disgusting. Why won't they just have sex with me?
Oh yeah, by the way, I kill all women characters in Skyrim, but that's not has nothing to do with me being an incel.
All the women characters in Skyrim reject me.
Yo, Lydia? No, thank you.
Lydia.
Gross.
Oh,
I killed her. She was the first person I got killed in Skyrim. I lost her and I never found her again.
You fucking women hater.
Yeah.
This dude hates women.
Yeah.
Can't believe it. Oh.
I can't believe it's not butter.
Lovely.
Alright. I guess I'll go next.
Yeah, what's
you got a quick one?
What's your spooky urban legend from our town, JJ?
From our state. But
ooh, a state
story. It's a well-known one, but the actual movies, don't watch the movies. They're fucking shit. They don't tell the real story. Annabelle, as we all know. Annabelle.
I thought it was the wood chipper story.
The wood chipper story.
Yeah, basically, I think this was in the 70s. Like some Connecticut husband just got fucking sick of his wife, gave her a good old bop. Right, he's like, oh,
I did hear about this one. Yeah.
What am I gonna do with this body? Right, so he freezes her body, rents out a wood chipper, and then in the middle of the night goes on like the side of the road and starts running this wood chipper and feeds her through it and like shoots her into the woods. And of course people are like, yo, what the fuck are you doing at 3 a.m. with a wood chipper? And where's your wife? And he's like, oh. and I guess apparently the police like pulled chunks of her out of this wood chipper, and they're like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? He's like, I don't know. I thought it was.
Were they as calm as you're portraying it?
Yeah,
like,
it was
dude,
very,
what the fuck?
They were smoking a blunt. They were like,
dude,
what the fuck?
Yo, what the fuck?
Yo, what the?
And he's like, you got me.
I guess I'm going to jail.
Oopsie daisy.
Oopsie,
all right,
oopsie.
cool.
Not
that. Different thing.
No, it wasn't that one.
Okay.
But the real story of Annabelle is not stupid bullshit where a serial killer goes into this couple's house, kills herself, and then her blood goes into the doll, and then Annabelle is born. That's not what fucking happens. So basically, there's these two young college girls, and they move into their new apartment, and this is their first time they're moving out of the house. So one of the girls gets this doll, a Raggedy Ann doll. Annabelle is a Raggedy Ann doll. She's not the doll that you see in the movies. Her mom gives her that doll as kind of say, oh, you'll still be my little girl, right? So they move into the house, and Annabelle's just sitting there for, however long. So 2 weeks go by, everything's running smoothly, but the owner of the doll, let's just call her Ashley notices that, like, there's slight movements within the doll, which she finds a little weird. Like, nothing drastic, just like kind of a move of a hand, move of a leg that wasn't there before. Okay, nothing to write home about. One day, after they get home from their shifts, they're both nurses, they originally, in the morning when they left, they saw Annabelle was in Ashley's room, right? Well, now Annabelle is in the kitchen, and no one was in the apartment, so they're like, okay, that's a little weird, but
that's spooky as fuck.
Oh Jesus, that actually scared me.
I'm Annabelle, you fuck.
But basically they're like, all right, nothing to write home about. Another week passes by, and then all of a sudden there's a bunch of crayon markings on the wall. When they get back from their shift, they're like, what the fuck? And then Annabelle's there on the living room floor, or in the in-between kitchen, I guess you could call it a living room floor, and she just has a note that says, help me. The odd thing with that is they don't own a crayon, and the paper that was used they don't own, or they don't keep in the apartment, so they're like, okay.
And typically dolls don't write things.
It was
so
barely
that was their last conclusion. Randall. They were like,
wait a minute.
They were like, all right, so we don't have that crayon. We definitely don't own those crayons. Paper's weird. You're forgetting the fact that it's a doll.
So now they're
yeah, it is a
where'd
doll.
you get this paper from?
Now they're both in what the fuck mode, right? So what do you think you would do next?
Burn it.
You call a psychic, of course, or
you burn the doll.
Well, you would, but these bitches decide not to.
No, I would keep the
Let's
doll.
call a palm reader. See what's up.
Yeah. So
I want to use a Ouija
idiot.
board. I want to open a portal to the demon world.
God. There's some evil spirits up in here. Let's call a psychic.
Right.
Holy
Get
fucking
it on,
burn shit.
Or
ladies.
I don't know the terminology. The people that speak to the dead or whatever.
Medium?
The crazy old medium. Sorry.
Yep.
Yeah. So they invite this medium over, and the medium's like doing the whole hand-holding thing, and like she's talking to the spirit, and then she's like, all right, I'll tell him. So the medium says there was this girl named Annabelle that used to live there, but unfortunately died due of sickness when she was like 7, and the place where their apartments were used to be where she lived, and Annabelle just wants to play with Ashley and her roommate, because she wants to relive her childhood that she lost. So it's like, with that story, the girls seem sympathetic toward Annabelle, so they're like, yeah, sure. So basically what you have to do with possessions and stuff is if a spirit enters a vessel, you have to give it permission to like come into your lives or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like that kind of weird shit. If you see The Conjuring, you kind of get what I mean. So they're like, yeah, you could stay in that doll. Fuck it, why not? So, I think about a day or two goes by, and then the doll gets aggressive with its movements. It's like moving, just like
just
to and from different rooms, making itself comfortable, kicking back, popping a cold one, drinking it down,
eating all the snacks in the cabinets, just being a real.
They get back and there's like a whole bottles of boozes, and Annabelle's just slumped on the corner of the couch.
She's like that.
And then they got to take Annabelle to AA, but Annabelle doesn't want to go to AA because she thinks it's for pussies. So that's a whole dilemma. But so continuing on with the story, so. Ashley, her roommate, had a boyfriend, and her boyfriend is like super religious. He's like, that doll is fucking evil. Fuck that doll. And the roommate's
smart man. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, he's like, fuck this doll. So he stays over one night. He stays over right. So he comes in and he's like, this doll is fucking evil. By the way, can I crash tonight?
Can I smash?
Yeah, let me just vibe out for the night.
Smash?
Exactly.
Can we fuck?
So he sleeps on the couch that night, and all of a sudden he gets like, I'm gonna assume it's sleep paralysis because this part is kind of, believe it or not believe it kind of thing. But essentially he's sleeping on the couch, and then all of a sudden he feels something crawling on him, and then he keeps like drifting in and out of consciousness until eventually Annabelle gets like right up in his face, and then she chokes him, and then he passes out, and then Annabelle has a note in her hand that says, "Why don't you love me?" And it's like, oh boy, this is getting into some freaky deekies.
So just real quick. So I've heard this story through the Unsolved BuzzFeed video. I'm obviously gonna let you continue, but that's I listened to this story when I was working at my movie theater. And I typically did I typically cleaned theaters by myself.
Right.
So like a sadistic fuck, I'd listen to horror stuff as I'm working by myself.
In a dark-ass theater.
Just to get that fear boner.
Yeah.
Good job.
So it did also help that Annabelle was playing in theaters at the time when I was listening to this. So creepy shit does actually scare the crap out of me. So what sucks about having this virtual background is not being able to see what's happening behind me. So like if you've noticed, I've like gone like this.
Yeah, just for a second I noticed you just like panic. Oh fuck.
Also you just shit.
So
oh Jesus Christ.
So I just want to say I fucking hate Annabelle.
Did you take the hat off because you thought it was tickling the back of your neck?
No, I took the hat off because I needed to hear what was happening behind me. Because I kept hearing things like my door. I don't know what it was.
No, I feel
got
that on a
scared.
spiritual level.
So yeah,
but,
like even while researching The Watcher, I couldn't listen to it without like my brother in the room, or I'd freak out. Like. Because I was
just so you know, whatever noise is making in the background is definitely your brother or something like that. Yeah, right.
It probably is.
I got you.
All right. So let's quickly wrap up Annabelle.
Sure.
And,
so basically, they invite a priest over, and the priest invites the Warrens, aka the people from The Conjuring, and the Warrens, the mom and dad in The Conjuring, like the two.
Yep.
Paranormal investigators. They're just like, yo, this thing is fucking evil. First off, Annabelle doesn't fucking exist because this was an empty lot. Like nothing was here before. So
So I don't know what the fuck is in that.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck is in that. So they're like, we're gonna just take this evil doll and put it in a glass door, and then no one's gonna touch it. So that's why in the Conjuring movies and stuff, Annabelle's always in like a glass case because demons are impervious to glass containers.
My one weakness, glass.
The bastards found out.
I can move around the house whenever I want, draw with crayons, take up paper, but the minute you put a little door on it,
objects.
I will say,
So birds and demons have the same weakness, just panes of glass.
Yes.
What makes Annabelle like fucking? What makes it all scary, at least for me, is the fact that we can visit that house. It's like 20 minutes away.
Oh yeah, that's why it's like local. It's like, the biggest urban legend is like a lot of urban legends and ghost stories are in Connecticut. Connecticut is haunted as fuck if you look.
Yeah, we suck because we're one of the richest states in the U.S.
It's all that imperial. Yeah. It's capitalism.
But just one side story. So you could, like Peter said, you could visit the doll and visit all the artifacts the Warrens have collected, and basically this couple were riding on a motorcycle or whatever. They come and visit and they're just fucking with everything, and like Mr. Warren's like, hey, don't fuck with shit. They're like, whatever, fuck you. So the guy goes in toward the Annabelle glass and he starts banging on it like this, like oh, scratch me, bitch, scratch me. And nothing happens, because Mr. Warren is like, hey, get the fuck out. So they get the fuck out, they get on their bike, and then immediately the dude loses control of his motorcycle, heads straight into a tree. He dies. The girl lives. She's hospitalized for like a year, and she said they were both making fun of the doll while they were riding the motorcycle, and then all of a sudden that's when the dude lost control of his steering. So
didn't his head come off? Didn't he get decapitated?
I don't remember that.
Randall, your face.
I just heard that his head smashed into a tree. But I mean, I don't know.
So basically what I'm hearing is some people came into a paranormal museum, probably drunk, fucked with the stuff, and then drunk drove their motorcycle and crashed it.
Yes. No, it was Randy. It was Annabelle.
It was the ghost.
Randy, if you die, that's on you, man.
Yeah,
believe in Annabelle.
The whole legend is that if you even talk ill about Annabelle, that she'll somehow affect you. I mean, the story is like, it leads up a lot into interpretation. Like, did the guy just dream that Annabelle was climbing on him, or like,
because how could a doll choke you out?
Yeah, exactly.
But
like that,
like, it's fucking fluffy. Like, how does it do it? But JJ,
hands,
genuinely, you scared the shit out of me. Thank you.
No problem. I'm not gonna sleep tonight either, because I did research on spooky stories, and I knew the story about Annabelle, but I had forgotten it. Now I remembered it, so I might not be showing up to work in the morning. I'm a pussy.
But thank you, JJ, for joining us on our Halloween special.
Absolutely.
Randall, thank you, as always, for being an excellent host. I am thankful for being an amazing co-host. We're going to be continuing this.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
We're going to be continuing this on the spooky podcast for JJ, Sinister Sheep, Sheep and Friends podcast. Before we do, we're going to plug our stuff. On screen throughout the entire podcast, you'll see my social, Randall's social, and of course JJ's social when he gives it to me, and I'll put it on screen. Pretty much that's all my plug is. Of course, watch We Sell Dirt, share it with some friends. Please recommend us to people
subscribe.
Like, subscribe, 50,000 likes on this video. Please, Randall, please go ahead and promote yourself.
I do stand-up comedy, so if you're interested in that, check out CC Stand-Up Club on Instagram. Look for the Red Platypus, and CC_stand on Twitter. I have a couple of open mics coming up. One of them is going to be November 6th, and the other one, I believe, is November 17th. But check in on the socials for dates and information on that. Again, go back, listen to the previous episodes of We Sell Dirt, and then follow us over onto the Sheep and Friends podcast for part 2.
And of course, JJ, we haven't been promoting it enough. Please tell us, what do you do, JJ?
What do I do?
Yes.
Well, on my YouTube channel has just become basically me uploading podcasts, 2 of which Peter is in. One is the Sheep and Friends, which is basically an Xbox Live party just constantly talking to over each other, shit talking. It's a good time if you want a good laugh. And then the second one is Sheep and Weebs, where basically it's the same thing, but we exclusively just talk about anime. And Peter is constantly right about his opinions, and Leon is constantly wrong.
You know what? Can we put that as a tag under that, by the way?
Yes, absolutely.
I just want that on there.
100%.
For factual... it's a factual statement as well.
So I haven't been producing a lot of videos, but I am planning to produce a kind of retrospective on all the Gorillaz albums. Gorillaz is one of my favorite bands, so I want to review each album. I'm not a huge music nerd, but I really do love Gorillaz, so I'm going to be...
You're just a fucking nerd.
Yeah, I'm just a regular dork. So I'm going to be reviewing each album. I bought a green screen and everything. I got
that change. I see you got that change. Get that change.
But yeah, so that's my shit.
All right. Once again, thank you, JJ, for joining us. And thank you, audience, for listening and watching at home. We hope you have a great Halloween night tomorrow, and we will see you on the next video. Thank you all for watching and listening.
And God bless America.
God bless America.